In this episode, we're going to discuss all three clusters in the summer triangle, M29, M56 and M71. As mentioned in our Dumbbell Nebula episode, there are three stars that make up the summer triangle, Deneb, Altair and Vega. These also just happen to be some of the brightest stars in the summer skies, and in the northern hemisphere will be located directly overhead during summer. To start off with, we will locate the open cluster M29, which is the easiest of the clusters in the summer triangle to locate. To start with, find the bright star Deneb. This will show you what part of the summer triangle you need to look at. Then locate the Northern Cross asterism. Take your time to locate the asterism in the night sky. Then head to the middle star of the Northern Cross, known as Sadir. Now head south by 1.7 degrees and you will see an object that looks like this through the eyepiece. When searching for this cluster, I would recommend using a low-powered eyepiece. I did some post-processing to improve the image further, and I gave an even more detailed view of the cluster. M29 is actually heading towards us at 28 km per second, and is a star-forming area. As such, there is also some nebulosity in this cluster, which is slightly shown in this photo. Our next target is M71, a globular cluster in the Sagittarius constellation. To locate this cluster, find the Northern Cross and then head to the end of the main section of the cross to find the beautiful double star Albero. About halfway between this star and Altair lies the Sagittarius constellation. Then find the brightest two stars in the Sagittarius constellation. M71 lies about halfway between these two stars. Looking through your eyepiece, you should be able to see something that looks like this. However, as M71 is one of the smallest known globular clusters, it will only appear as a patch of light in binoculars. To resolve the stars it contains, you will need at least a medium-sized telescope. In fact, I didn't find this cluster was particularly notable in a low-powered eyepiece, and would recommend a medium-powered eyepiece to locate it. I also post-processed this globular cluster to give this image. As you can see, it is not a particularly concentrated cluster, unlike most globular clusters, and because of this, over its history it has switched back and forth between being classified as an open cluster and a globular cluster. Today, M71 is classified as a loosely populated globular cluster. Finally, we will locate M56, the last cluster in the summer triangle. Like M71, it's another globular cluster. To locate the cluster, find Vega and then move down to the star Sulfat at the bottom of the constellation Lyra. This star is also right next to the Ring Nebula, and perhaps it is a good object to find first, to help improve your familiarity with this part of the night sky. All of this is discussed in a previous episode linked in the description below. Now, head down to Albero, located at the end of the Northern Cross asterism. M56 is located about halfway between the stars Albero and Sulfat. Unfortunately, it is not a good binocular object as it doesn't have a bright core. You will need a large pair of binoculars or a 4-inch telescope to reveal a ball of light, and a 6-inch or larger telescope to reveal the individual stars that make up the globular cluster. Through the eyepiece you should see something that looks like this. This is a series of 5-second exposures, and as you can see it is not a particularly bright cluster, unlike the Great Globular Cluster in Hercules, link in the description below. As always, I have stacked the images to provide an improved final image which brings out many more stars and gives a brighter overall image. Just remember that you won't see that through your eyepiece. Well, that concludes our tour of the clusters of the summer triangle. Please comment if you have got any questions, like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more astronomy videos. Goodbye and clear skies.